Hey babes, here's another video for how to get better at Fortnite. This is a video that has two things to learn from. One, using cover to push and advance on somebody else, especially if they're hiding in a one by like this guy. And two, how to use high ground to get an advantage and recognize that low ground is a disadvantage. Right here, I'm kind of just like challenging because I'm bored. It's not optimal. Sitting there and challenging was not what you should do. I was shooting back at first to the guy who's sitting on the top of the mountain in a little one by. It was sniping at me. I shot back at him with a sniper to make him have to respect that I can snipe back at him, to make him have to hesitate and take a little bit longer for his shots. Otherwise, if he had free reign on me and I never looked for a snipe, then he would just sit out there and wait for a good shot and then take the one good shot. But if he realizes that I can snipe back, then hey, he has to start respecting it, and then he has to do quick peeks, and it's a little bit harder for him to land shots. I use the mountain as cover to push towards him. That way he can't really get an easy shot on me. And it also apparently made him forget that I existed or something. I don't think this guy's a very good player, but it doesn't stop from the lesson of using high ground, using cover to push on somebody else. If you think they're going to be pushing on you, you don't want to just blatantly use a mountain because they can just peek over the edge and shoot at you. But this guy seemed like he was content on sitting in his one by, and because it seemed like he was content in sitting in his one by, I decided to take the cover advantage route, I guess, using the mountain to cover me. So I'll go back and show everything once again now that I've quickly explained it, and I'll try to explain it better with a little bit more detail through the second time. I even took off the nameplates and the player outlines through the boxes so you guys can't really see. You see literally what I see, the gameplay view. I see they sniping through at me on the one by. Players like this typically will just sit there. I give shots back, shout outs to the leaves. I give shots back to try make him have to respect. This is a shot you shouldn't take. I'm sitting here for a little bit too long. Another sniper could have killed me. That's an unnecessary risk I just took there for that fourth shot. But the first three were to make him have to respect that I can snipe back at him. And right now, I'm definitely using cover. I'm quickly peeking to see if he's looking at me, waiting for me coming around the corner. He's not peeking. He's probably looking around or taking a slurp or whatever he's doing. So I take a quick moment to push over to the next mountain. And I build to the top of this mountain so I can get a height advantage. On the low ground, you can tell I can barely see the guy. The only time I can ever see him is when he decided to peek at me. So what I want to do, after using the cover to push, I then start building a one by. I'm making sure he's not going to shoot me down real quick or something. I use the cover of the one by, building cover on the back side as well so nobody can snipe my back. Gaining high ground for myself through building. Now I have a level advantage over him. And you can see his head peek out just a little bit as he's looking. There he is. There he is. So when he's looking like that, earlier he was doing that to me and I couldn't see him from the low ground. It was impossible because of angles. So I'm using what's a huge advantage of a musket. As I showed in a previous video, the muskets can do a third person peek. I'm aiming down the sight so I can zoom in and get a better angle. And then I have crosshairs. Unfortunately, crosshairs don't show up in the replay. But my crosshairs are honed for where I think his head will be. And I'm zooming in with a musket. And I'm ready to just kind of move up and peek out and shoot real quick and go back behind cover is what I'm trying to do. Essentially what he's doing is kind of the same. Except he's not using his third person peek. And he's thinking I'm still over there for some reason. Because he's not that great of a player. But still, even if he's not that great of a player, he has clear high ground. He spent a lot of money or has played this game a lot because he's John Wick. And he's just waiting with a huge advantage over where I was. Not realizing that I just built up this giant one by right next to him. And look, I peek only out of cover because I double check to make sure nobody else has high ground advantage over me at this point. I peek only when I see that he's coming out of cover slightly, when I'm ready to shoot. And in this moment, if we go back to where I was, down here, it's literally impossible to see him. This is the angle I had earlier. There's no way you can see this guy. And the angle I had on that guy was roughly this. If you zoom in, this is roughly the angle I had on this guy. I could see his gun through the wall, so I would know that he was about to peek, but I wouldn't be able to see him. Whereas this angle up here where I currently am is able to see him just slightly. just slightly. That just slightly was enough. I could have built another one by higher, but I really didn't want to risk building even more because he possibly could have like really been like a flare of, hey, I'm right here. Do you really not see me? I'm right here. If I built another one by higher, my angle would be roughly this, which is clearly even higher. If I built another one by, then that would be like the easiest shot in the world, right? His head's very visibly shown over the edge. But if I continue building one bys, especially because I realized that I was just on like really not stable ramps going up here real quick, so I was trying to do like a quick build in case he would shoot me down. And I wanted to make sure I provide cover against somebody like Oakenshield over here in the truck from being able to shoot me in the back. So I didn't want to take the huge risk of building even higher and higher and higher, because if they shot these 2 planks right here, then I would have fallen probably to my death. Yep, from this height, definitely from a death, especially if I was too higher. Which is the reason why immediately after I get the kill, I immediately leave the fort, because I don't want to fall to my death. But what I see is his head just barely peeking over. Barely see his head. And that's like the moment I come out of cover and strike. So the lesson learned here is using cover for your advantage when you push a person that's sitting in like a 1x. It makes it not easy for them to know exactly where you are, while also not being visible to be shot at. Like 1, they don't know where you are, so it's hard for them to plan for you. And 2, they can't shoot at you because of you being covered. The second lesson to learn here is using a height advantage to get an angle, especially for sniping. It works for like RPGs and ARs like that as well. But especially in sniper exchanges like this, height advantage is a huge key. So that's what I got for you today. It's just really quick, simple concepts. It's not a crazy full fight breakdown of everything that's going on, but very useful tools of information, basically, that you can use to better your game and be a little bit more consistent, managing cover and managing high ground over an enemy, especially in cyber battles. You can go ahead and follow my mixer.com/Chadlantis channel, where I stream daily Fortnite BR. I do like 50+ hours a week of Battle Royale games, and I'll quickly cover like little bits of information and tips as I can. But YouTube is a way better format for like very slowly and fully breaking down games, whereas on Mixer, I'll typically just go quickly into the next game and just briefly cover information as I'm going, kind of a deal. You can also follow my Twitter, twitter.com/Chadlantis, where I tweet out when I go live every day, post my thoughts on updates, stuff like that for Battle Royale, for Fortnite. Also, you can be sure to subscribe to this channel if you really enjoy this helpful tips, information, if you want to know more. Actually recently covered this Musket third-person corner peeking strategy in my most recent video as well. So go ahead and give that a check. I'll catch you later, babes.